Hello everyone, welcome to the Starward Initiative, and we're back for another look at Unearthed Arcana, Mages of Strixhaven, the D&D MTG crossover, and we are playtesting out a lot of these new multi-class subclasses offered in this Unearthed Arcana. We're moving on to the Mage of Silverquill, and this is a subclass for bards, warlocks, and wizards, and let's take a look. Mages of Silverquill hone the power of words. They channel the magic of light and shadow through words, whether spoken aloud, written, or signed through gestures. The words of a Mage of Silverquill bring salvation to their allies and despair to their enemies. Little thing ahead of time. This is a pretty powerful subclass as it stands right now. Basically, this is describing right here the use of the subclass. This is the way with all the subclasses. Though I do want to give a shout out to Tristan and the last video, the Quandrix video. I forgot to mention the specifics on this, that if you are certain classes, you might have to wait for features. Like in the last one, the sorcerer would have to wait until 14th level to pick the 10th level or 14th level feature, because they don't get subclass features at 10th level. So you have to choose. Now we're going to run into an even more, in my opinion, tragic, but even more different situation here with the bard. I'll point that out when we get there. But it is nice that they say ahead of time, because normally with these features, you can only pick one when you come across it for your subclass features according to your class. So if you're looking at any of the classes in the player's handbook, it will tell you get features at first level, 6th level, 10th level, 14th level, like whatever, depending on what class you are the levels you get subclass features. So and different classes get them at different levels. We'll go over that here. But this one says that you can have both of the first level features when you get the subclass, and that's important so that you don't have to choose one or the other, because that's the normal rules. You can only have one feature at a time. But all these upfront features, the first ones when you get the subclass, I think for every subclass here, they're universally the same. You can use those. So our first level feature is Eloquent Apprentice. You learn one cantrip of your choice, either Sacred Flame or Vicious Mockery. It doesn't count against the number of cantrips you know, and it is added to your class spell list if it isn't there already. Additionally, you gain proficiency in your choice of 2 of Deception, Intimidation, Performance, Persuasion, or Insight. So this is like the super eloquence bard. Silverquill / Sliverin. Kind of seeing some dark light here, a lot of resemblance there. As far as the cantrips they give you, if you're bard, you probably already have Vicious Mockery, and you'll pick Sacred Flame. I'm not a huge fan of Sacred Flame, but if you're not a bard, I would definitely go Vicious Mockery if you're a wizard or warlock, because those Sacred Flame does more damage. Vicious Mockery has the utility of giving disadvantage on an attack if you hit an enemy with it, giving them disadvantage on attack. Plus, if you're a warlock or wizard, you already have a better damage cantrip than Sacred Flame with things like Firebolt and Eldritch Blast, stuff like that. So cool. So we're getting a free cantrip as well as 2 skills, and good ones at that, if you're planning on being like the orator type mage here. The other first level ability is Silvery Barbs. You can invoke words laced with magic to demoralize your foes and turn their misfortune into a boon to bolster your allies. Immediately after a creature you can see within 60 feet of you succeeds on an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you can use a reaction to demoralize the creature. Unless the creature is immune to being charmed, it re-rolls the d20 and must use the lower roll. If the attack roll, ability check, or saving throw then fails, you can choose a different creature you can see within 60 feet of you. You can choose yourself, which is nice. That creature is empowered and can re-roll one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw it makes within a minute and use the higher result. A creature can be empowered by only one use of this feature at a time, and once a creature fails an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw because of a re-roll forced by this feature, you can't use the feature again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot to use it again. Okay, to simplify this, it allows you to use your reaction to give someone disadvantage, to give typically an enemy disadvantage on attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. And if they fail, they've already succeeded it. Then you just come in and give them disadvantage. If they then fail because of that, then you not only make them fail, but you can take that failure and turn and give it to an ally and allow them to use that as advantage. So you give the enemy disadvantage and then give an ally advantage for the next minute on one of those checks. So very cool, very powerful. And you would think that, oh no, you can only do this once per long rest. That sounds, that's not that great. It's only once. But it's only when it works, so you don't have to waste it. It's only when it works does it take that use away, and you can use any spell slot to do it again. So this is giving you a level 1 spell trying to, it's a save or suck, right? It's like either it works or it doesn't. But you can try to give enemies disadvantage as a level 1 spell. This is amazing. It is essentially giving you a free use of the spell, and then a spell that you can use any spell slot to use again as many times as you like. This is Silvery Barbs is amazing. Love this as a first level feature. Now, granted, if you're a wizard or bard, you're getting it at second or third level, respectively. But love this feature. Great, powerful, and it's you're baning the baddies and you're booning the goodies. So I like it. At 6th level, you get Inky Shroud. You learn the Darkness spell, and it's added to your class spell list if it isn't there already. If you're a wizard, you can add it to your spell book. If it isn't there already, you can cast a spell without expending a spell slot, and you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. When you cast a spell in this way, you can see normally through the darkness created, and when a creature you can see starts its turn in the darkness, you can deal 2d10 psychic damage to that creature. You can cast the spell normally without the additional effects by using spell slots you have of 2nd level or higher. So it's giving you the darkness spell automatically if you don't have it. There's really no compensation if you do have it, but I would allow my players just to swap out another one, pick another spell of 2nd level that you could also pick. But it doesn't say that, but I would allow my players to do so. I would tweak this some. All right, so it's great that one free use you have per long rest does 2d10, can do 2d10 damage to any creature that starts their turn in it. That's great. I would prefer just to set you aside from the normal darkness users. Let me see here. When a creature you can see, you can deal. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure it says right here, you can deal that damage to them. Okay, good. That makes this even better. So what I would like to see is to have this, anytime you use the darkness spell, it deal this damage. I know that's too powerful for a 6th level ability, and the darkness spell you can use over and over. It's an AoE, that's good damage, it's psychic damage. I get that. So maybe knock it down to 1d10 and allow it to go, like that just gives that effect to your darkness spell, so that you're not only getting that unique tint to it once per long rest. Knock it down to a d10. Heck, even a d6. I'd rather see less damage and consistency, right? Make it more useful throughout, not just one time. Granted, it is a free spell. That's nice. Free 2nd level spell, and you can now deal damage with it. I would just rather deal damage more times, you know what I'm saying, and less damage. Plus, it's AoE. Like it's anyone in that darkness you choose. So even if it's not that high of damage, it's still, you're probably getting multiple targets. I like this ability. Just would like to see it tweaked a little bit. And that's the 6th level. So here's the 10th level ability. And here's where I cry. I cry a little bit. Wait, let me see here. I have it written down. Yes, yeah, okay. Levels for Silverquill video. Cry at 10th level for Bard. So the Bard subclass features are at 3rd, 6th, and 14th. I'm pretty sure on that. 3rd, level 3, level 6, and level 14. You only get 3 features as a Bard for your subclass. They're pretty heavy in their class features, and since they don't come online until 3rd level, they only get 3 features as opposed to 4. And which is kind of sucks, because when you get to 10th level, right, you only get when you get to 10th level, you don't get anything. But when you get to your next your last ability as a bard is 14th level. That means you could have to choose between this 10th level feature and this 14th level feature. Where are we at here? Okay, Words of Power. It's right here, and it just carries over to the next page. So you have to choose between one of these two when you reach 14th level. Man, that sucks. And that's it. You don't get another option. As far as I can tell, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, you don't get another option to like get the other one later on because you get no more subclass features. That sucks. But let's take a look. I'm sorry, that just tweaked me the wrong way. That bards don't get all these features. They have to choose. I understand balancing. I understand. It just sucks. So, Infusion of Eloquence. Sorry for the rant. When you cast a spell that deals damage, you can invoke additional words of power to change the spell's damage type to your choice of Psychic or Radiant. Any creature damaged by the spell takes extra damage equal to your proficiency bonus and has its emotions swayed with despair or adoration based on the damage type dealt. I'm going to let you know ahead of time. I think this is hugely overpowered and they probably have to tweak this. But we'll see why. So you get to pick, you change your damage type to either Psychic or Radiant, and when the damage is dealt, it is, if you pick Psychic, it will frighten them till the start of your next turn. If you pick Radiant, it will charm them till the start of your next turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So this is based on proficiency bonus. At 10th level, if you're a Warlock or Wizard, you will get this at 10th level when you get a subclass feature, and that will be 4? 3? 4. Yeah, because 9th level you get... 9th level you get your proficiency bonus goes up to 4. And you get this, so you deal 4 extra damage. Okay, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's to everyone you damage. When a spell damages, right? I'm thinking I'm reading this right. When you deal damage to a creature damaged by the spell, that's AoE spells included, mind you. It deals that much damage. Okay, the damage isn't the problem. 4 extra damage amongst 2, 3, 4 creatures, whatever. That's, especially at 10th level, that's not the problem. The problem lies that these features here, either you're frightening or charming them, you're using, let's say you use a level 1 Thunder Wave, right? And you're hitting multiple creatures with this, even if you're dealing half damage and doing nothing else, even if they're passing and they're dealt any kind of damage, they automatically get frightened or charmed. There's no additional save. All you have to do is use the spell. You don't even have to hit. They don't even have to fail. And they all become frightened or charmed. That is automatic automatic success for you, which is great. If you're a player, yay, I'm charming or frightening loads of people all the time. Hooray for me. But it will make combat pretty stale, and that's overpowered. There needs to be another save in here, or it needs to be one target out of that spell that takes damage. It will happen, but it says any creature, and that's where I believe it's not balanced. But I love the feature. It's super powerful, and if I'm a bard and I have to pick between Word of Power and Infusion of Eloquence, that's a tough one because that is super powerful. Let's see what Word of Power offers us at 14th level. You can invoke a Word of Power that is the pinnacle of your magical study. You gain the following options. You get to pick one of these Words of Power, and wait. Yes. Okay. There we go. You can invoke a Word of Power. Okay. Deadly Despair. You pick one of these, right? You can invoke a Word of Power that is the pinnacle of your magic. You gain the following options. Okay. I would probably clarify that with you choose like one of these permanently instead of you can invoke these when the mood, or are these both? Am I reading this wrong? See, I read this as you have to pick one, but I'm not. When I'm reading this now, it kind of seems like you can just use one of these when you're able. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna have to get clarification on that, but okay. So I'm just assuming you pick one of these, though it doesn't look like it specifies that. It just says, you can invoke a Word of Power. Well, I can invoke this one when this comes up, and I can invoke that one when that comes up. Anyway, if you get both of these, wow, that is really powerful. If you get one, it's still worth it to me. But let's see. So Deadly Despair. When the target of your silvery barbs fails an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, that's our level 1 feature. Because of the reroll, you can invoke a Word of Despair to give the target vulnerability to one damage type of your choice until the start of your next turn. Pretty darn powerful. We'll touch back here as soon as we look at the other one. Selfless Invocation. When a creature you can see within 60 feet of you takes damage, you can invoke a Word of Power using your reaction to grant the creature resistance to that damage, and you take an amount of psychic damage equal to the damage that creature takes. As soon as I get done with these reviews, I'm going to take the survey, and then when I take the survey, I'm going to ask for better clarification on this. But the Selfless Invocation, I think it would be great if you weren't a full caster class that, it's either a D8 or D6 hit points, depending if you go Wizard or the other two. But, okay, so you give a creature resistance, and then you take the other half of the damage that they didn't take. That's great. In a pinch, if you have to choose between these two, I'm more than likely almost always going to go Deadly Despair, because Silvery Barbs is great to begin with, and giving them vulnerability is just too sweet. It's only one damage type, right? I know a lot of people are flying off the rails when vulnerability was mentioned before, but they've been pretty good about specifying one damage type, and this is only until the start of your next turn. So, yeah, it's good. It's really good. I like it. I don't think it's overpowered. It's not all damage types, so that's cool. Some coordination. It'll promote coordination with your team. I like it. I like Deadly Despair. Selfless Invocation is good. If you have to pick one of these two, I would probably, unless I'm thinking of some kind of strange, if I'm multi-classing, although I'm already 14th level at this point, if I'm multi-classing to get some tank on me or some other way to mitigate this damage, I would do it. But I'm not gonna see a whole lot of use out of that. I mean, you will, depending on how you want to do it, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. That's it. Those are the features. Sorry, Bards, you got to pick between 10th and 14th level, and as it's worded right now, this puppy up here, Infusion of Eloquence, is super duper strong, and I would probably pick that. Your choice, though. Really like the subclass. I would play this. Really enjoy this Silverquill Slytherin subclass. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll chug along here. We're almost done with all these subclasses, and then we'll hop back over and do some other stuff, some other reviews. Thank you so much for joining me, and remember, until next time, unity is strength. So take care of each other, stay safe, and we'll see you again real soon.